Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on November 5th, 2024. Gives you an idea how time works for me. Okay, at approximately 4:31 p.m. That's horrible. There we go. Now, I've made it my life's mission to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools that I offer are the exact same tools I personally use, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I use to guide virtually every movement I make. Now, with this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have worked for thousands of people with varying degrees of success, depending entirely on their personal efforts. Now, today we're going to look at co-creating the new you. And yes, we have some intriguing information for you. First and foremost, co-creating the new you literally boils down to this. We're going to give you the tools and corroborating evidence, we'll call it. Okay, not like I don't call it proof because of the fact I'm not about to bring the people online. Okay, nor am I going to give you names, but I can tell you this. I've covered the idea of linguistics with you now. Creating the new you is this. You've got to change the way you're looking at you. This is absolutely critical. If you continue looking at you as you have been, you're going to continue being you. Now, before I get into it too terribly far, we do have Storm in the background there. I call it in the background. He's got his ear into the stone or the ear to the glass, depending on what you want to call it. He's the one keeping the technological side of things running, and he's also the one watching out for problem children. Okay, problem children being those that want to come in here and just go and make a problem. Okay, now do understand, I am doing my best to make this a safe place for virtually everybody. This excludes, quite frankly, the ones coming in here trying to make their shall we say 15 seconds of fame by being, well, politely put, a dipstick. Okay, I don't have time for it anymore. Now, I spent 59 years, okay, trying to figure out how to get people to look at the world in a different fashion. But I've been in a bit of a bind. I was looking at me in a very simple fashion. I'm trying to fit in. Well, the reality is I don't. Okay. I actually had somebody ask me one day, they looked at me and went, look, with all the past lives and all the things you've been through, why is it so important you fit in this lifetime? You have never fit in before. Okay. And I got thinking about it. Okay, there's a problem. So I took a look at that. I took a look at a conversation I had with family members that have all passed on. And they flat out came around and said, look, you came here to do a job. We told you to keep what you do quiet. Okay, you did that. Didn't work that well. Now, do it the way you have to. Okay. I had that same directive from another entity that many of you claim to know, and yet continually turn around. And I'm talking in gross magnitude here. Individuals of you are actually getting the message quite nicely. But before we get into it, I should get carried away and carried back here. Ellie Moon is in the house. She is one of our moderators that does a phenomenal job in keeping conversations going. Much more importantly, in my eyes, is she keeps an eye on my health. because LA can absolutely tell what energy is doing. Okay, so this is why I told both Storm and LA that I have already eaten today, more actually in the last day this morning than I have in the last 2 or 3 days. But that said, dinner's already set for tonight. You desire to co-create a new you. First thing we look at. By changing you, by altering your perception of you and the way you carry yourself, you're going to have a shockwave effect on everybody around you. As they change, it's going to be a feedback loop. This is why you make absolutely certain the changes you're making for you follow 3 karmic laws. And we'll get to those in a second. Now, up here, and we have Operation Shutdown. You are in with the gold. Well done. How you doing? Joe Stewart, we are in with the silver. And guess what, Joe? Here's a neat little news flash for you. All that activity going on in the graveyard out behind you. You change the way you look at you. You change the way they look at you, and subsequently the way you look at them. This is what I mean. We are all connected, whether you're physically alive or not. Now, you'll notice, well, you might not. Okay. I'm curious how many people in the chat room right now that are looking into my office. I am curious how many of you actually see added guests in here. Now, we have who is in here with the silver, with the bronze. Nathan from the Quantum Show. You are in with the bronze. And today is Tuesday. So, and you're back at work. Hopefully it's busy for you, or at least hopefully it's busy enough to keep you happy. And most importantly, in this case, to keep you paid. And Rachel, you're in with honorable mention. How you doing? It's always, Rachel, you are not. My apologies. Renee Andrews is in with honorable mention. It's always fun trying to figure out which one of you two actually get through the door first. You know, it always pictures, I always picture it, you both hit the door at the same time. And it's just a question of who hits that fraction earlier. I will tell you, the people you are around, as far as family, and bear in mind, family is not necessarily bloodline. Family is the people you choose to be around. Now, I've already pulled the information together. We start with the idea. You desire a new you. Okay. And I'll tell you the reality of it is this. I titled today Co-Creating the New You, or Co-Creating Your New You, is because you may not desire to change a whole lot. Maybe you're content with most of what you are. Okay. But what would you do if I told you we can take literally everything you're not content with, as long as you stick to karmic laws? Karmic laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now understand, karmic law applies to everybody. Literally speaking, everybody from you, from the smallest, most apparently insignificant atom, all the way up to none other than that which is beyond God. Now, I have no idea where karmic laws started. I only know they have been around for way longer than mankind realizes. Of course, fairness, mankind doesn't exactly have a running record on knowing what's going on. Sad to say, now, do understand, I do not blame mankind for this. Now, with that said, we start with the idea you've already decided, I've got to change something about me. Well, there is an old saying that goes literally, fake it till you make it. Now, do not get me wrong. It is not wise to fake certain things, i.e., don't fake that you know how to drive. Okay, bear in mind the karmic laws are real simple. The second one, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Joe's going, are the alien species capable of analyzing gravestones when they land in a cemetery? Well, technically the answer is yes. But you got to remember one little thing there, Joe. Most off-world species realize one little detail. And that is when cultures have a gravestone set up, or a mausoleum or a monument that says, this is where a loved one passed away. Most species, if they have that, literally look at that as a sacred site. You don't vandalize it. Now, understand something very important here. Okay, there are some phenomenal pieces of artwork on this planet, on Earth. Okay, you take a look at, and I have no idea the history behind these sites, okay? But you take a look at, for instance, in the States, the Washington Monument. This is a monument. It is recognition of some event. Somebody out there gets to figure out what the event was. I am not a history buff. But off-worlders do not deliberately go out of their way to damage these kinds of sites. Graveyards are left alone. Now, some of them, you got to realize, some alien species have a problem. They know when you kill someone, when you damage a house, it's like vandalizing somebody's home. These guys are going to come back and make your life absolutely miserable, because death is not what humans think. Okay, what most humans think. So you take an idea with you're not content with something in your life. Now, that starts it always starts in the upper realm. Okay, your higher self, your guides, whatever you want to call it. Ultimately, it's carried forth from the Akashic records. Okay, and yes, those Akashic records date back through the flips. The Zerziks are the ones that take care of them. Zerziks are also the only species, one of the few species that come through the new renditions. So you get that idea in your head, up here. It comes down to either your head or your heart. One of them will come first. But then your head or your heart get the information, kind of like the idea of Renee and Rachel Andrews coming through the door. They hit the door at the same time, the door entrance at the same time. And depending on how it goes, one or the other is going to get through the door first. Cowie, how are we doing? Glad you could join us. Now, I've also used the term that when your head and your heart, when your head and your heart are in conflict, follow your head, but use your heart to get there. Okay? And again, you couple that off with when your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. Now, I came to this concept. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to make it my life's mission this lifetime to go, okay, let's remind people how working together we can make this a better world. Now, I've talked to you about thought, about your linguistics. I just was talking to somebody yesterday, and I told them point blank. Okay, I've told you guys, when you're thinking about what you desire to be, what changes you desire, do not pray and say, I want such and such, or I need such and such. Because every time you do that, and it doesn't matter if you're in a church, a temple, a gravesite, a grove, it doesn't matter. You can be sitting in a coffee shop. Doesn't matter who you're connected to. The moment you utter the term, I want such and such, what you're telling the universe, okay, or God, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm probably going to repeat that multiple times because people need to listen in and they come in after the fact. Okay. Every time you do that, the energy is put out for you to experience a want. In other words, the lack of attaining what you're asking for. Okay. Now, I told people this really, well, professionally for over 40 years. Okay. No, just barely shy of 38 years at this point. But I had this one chap come to me and he goes, look, I've been saying I want this connection to happen. Okay, for literally a couple of years. I've wanted this to happen. I finally turned around and stated, I desire this connection to happen. And literally within 24 hours, the connection opened, the door has been open ever since. Now, this is only a recent what's the word I'm looking for? Drawing a blank. It's only a recent event. The point being, okay, I've been telling you guys, I've been trying to fit in. Okay. Well, I also have made it very clear that I require, for me to live very high on the hog, as it were. Hey, how do we got? We have Santa Claus. Santa, how we doing? By the way, you're about a month and a half early, and terribly sorry about the pun if you take it that way. Glad you could join us. You know, the nice and you are from Bangladesh. Now that I know of, this means we've had people in here from the US, from Canada, which is where I'm from, France, the UK, from Australia, from Spain, from Singapore, and now we can add Bangladesh. Okay, now I've made it very clear up here. I require $2,500 a month from any source I can get it from, legally, by the way. Okay, in order to live comfortably. Now, I had believed myself completely screwed up. Yes, I'm sitting here saying positive perspectives. Well, this is positive perceptions here. The newsletter is positive perspectives. And then both of these are absolutely free. Well, here's the kicker. Okay, coupled with being told, what are you trying to fit in for? Okay, I've been buying into the idea that I cannot do a lot of things. Well, I was called the other day and literally told I was right off my nut. Okay, so I got people thinking I'm completely crazy and completely incompetent. Well, guess what, guys? This month, okay, as in we are now in November, and with what I already know is coming in, I will, for the first time in who knows how long, break $2,500 a month coming in, which means everything I've talked about is about to go into play. Okay, but it boiled down to I went, well, wait a minute. Okay, if I am nuts, then that means two things. Okay, number one, I don't think like other people, and I don't. Each and every one of you, okay, has the same value. Sorry to disappoint some of you. No, I'm not. If you haven't done so already, okay, one of the big keys to changing, or more to the point, to co-creating your new you, take this sign, paper, doesn't matter, pencil, whatever. I am worth it. Get it on your fridge. If you haven't done it already, Do it tonight. Okay. Those are the four most powerful. Okay, let's try that in English. Those are the four most powerful words in any language I have ever heard in any language regarding the reestablishment of self-worth, self-motivation, self-actualization, self-esteem. You get the idea? Okay. And Cowie's just adding, Keith, saying I do affects the mind on a subquantum level. And he's got a question mark. The answer is, and I don't put it on this much level that often, 100% yes. Okay, as the saying goes, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way, you're likely to prove yourself right. Now, with this in mind, get an idea in your head. Okay, start with the head and understand the head simply means you're getting an idea. So you remember this funny little thing I've showed you Lord knows how many times. Clipboard, notes, make a list of the things you're not content with. I know everybody's trying to take a look at what you're happy about and focus on that. It's a great idea. You remember the Titanic, and no disrespect to any of the people that passed away or were survivors of the event. Okay, but here's the ultimate level of focusing on the positive. Okay, hats off to the band that continued playing while the Titanic was sinking. They were focusing on the positive side. Okay, they were keeping people's spirits up. They were talking about the positive side of things. Absolutely imperative. And I strongly encourage you all to go and do that. But on the flip side of that, we have the people, the survivors that got into the boats. Okay. And especially the ones that got into the boats. And as they were rushing away, took the challenge and came back to get people that had missed the boats but were in the water. This is the idea of going, okay, we're going to talk about the positive thing and we're going to take into consideration the negative. Okay, they were looking at going, the ship's going to go down. I'm positive it's going down, so I'm getting onto another one. Okay, Joe goes, also, I'm not weird, I'm gifted. And I really am. And here's the funny thing there, Joe. Bumper stickers, a relic from my youth. Okay, and there we have it. Okay, this is a bumper sticker. It doesn't sit on my bumper; it sits on my filing cabinet. Okay, understand thinking. People keep saying think outside the box. Well, let me ask you this: where's the box? Okay, I have no idea where the box is. That's not entirely correct. Okay. So, now we have a box. Okay. And you'll notice if we open the box, there's not a lot of room in it. So, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to think outside the box. You remember that thing about wishful thinking? I'm going to hope this lands on the shelf. I don't think it's going to do that. Now, the fact of the matter is, you desire to co-create your new you. What is one thing you're not content with about you? Okay, and absolutely, those of you that are in the chat room, absolutely, we will make it personal, as in, give us something to work with. I'll tell you how to change it. Okay, And I will tell you, it won't happen while you're on your tail feathers. Okay, unless what you're not content with is not having a drink handy. By the way, guys, water. I don't require it. I didn't actually drink a lot of coffee today. But get an idea in your head of what you desire to change. You know, I like the other bumper sticker that I saw around a lot. Okay, and that was, if you don't like the way I drive, stay off the sidewalk. Okay, but I think one of the best ones that I saw, and I bring up religion on occasion in general terms. But here's the thing: I've already said I am a firm believer in God and Christ, probably more so than most. But I love this one bumper sticker I saw, and it said, "For those of you that don't believe in God, okay, or how about if we just broaden that? For those of you that don't believe in a higher power, you better pray you're right." Okay, but it's easy to look in the mirror and go, "I'm not content with the way I look. I'm not content with my hair." So it's easy to change that. But how do you change what's inside? Well, that is done through affirmations, through prayer, coupled with action. Okay, now, okay, I have not bought much for myself lately. So what we're going to do is look at this. To you, it's probably not a whole lot. But I went down to the mall today because I decided I needed to get new clothing, primarily because it was wearing out. So for the first time in over a year, I went out and bought, and this is just for me. You'll notice it's not state of the art. It's not overly fashionable, but it is new. It is what I chose. Okay, now, how do you start all of that? That's the easy part. Okay, you look at what you're feeling here. Are you content with you? Okay, now to be frank, I'm not honestly expecting a whole lot of response. Okay, I'm really not. That's the blunt side of things. But you co-create your new you by looking in the mirror and going, "Okay, I'm content with this." Now, get this. Okay, I know my eyes are healing. I can tell you that. My last pair of glasses is this. Now, you notice there's not a lot of change. But I bought into what the doctor said. I listened to what they told me. And they told me I needed new lenses. So that was great. I bought new lenses. Okay, couldn't really afford them. I need a pair of glasses, both of which I ignore most of the time, except for distance. Prescription is almost identical. But I decided I'd had enough. I am no longer buying into that. Okay, so I'm in the middle of doing a lot of things, but the first thing you've got to do is ask yourself, are you content with you? Okay, once you've decided that, now it's time to make it happen. Okay, do a complete self-assessment of what you're content with. This does not mean go to a psychologist, go to a counselor, go to a parent. It means look at you. Okay, but ask yourself while you're doing that, your behavior, the way you're talking to people, okay, are you getting the results you desire to get? If the answer is yes, then stay on course. If the answer is no, turn around and talk to somebody that has gone through it before successfully. Okay, ask them, this is what I desire to accomplish. How do I go about getting it? Now, I can tell you, I'm the last person you want to talk to about diplomacy. I know what diplomacy is supposed to look like. I just frankly don't see much point in him putting a lot of weight behind it. Now, I know I'm going to say things that are going to upset some of you. But like I told my own son, I'd asked him multiple times to do something. He continually didn't until I come through the door and I told him, I said, look, do you really enjoy my getting mad? Understand, I've gone through a lot in my life. Okay, I'm 61. Now, I have not been perfect. I've not been the best person on the planet. I've done things I'm absolutely appalled by. However, all the people I did them either against or to or whatever you want to call it, they're dead. Okay, they're already deceased. At least I'm not in contact with them. I cannot and you cannot undo anything you've done. Okay, you cannot make it not happen. But what you can do is look in the mirror and go, okay, these things are working, these aren't. Now, you've identified what you're happy about. Okay, I've identified the fact that I finally broke a stupid habit. I was spending $300 to $400 a month on eating out. Okay, now, then that was just you go out, eat one meal, go out again, eat another one. Now, I'm not doing that. Net result, like I was going to turn over, you're going to love this one. I was going to turn over my power of attorney over my life to somebody else because I was convinced by a lot of other people I had no way of coping with this world. Well, I will tell you, okay, the Jim, our number one moderator in here, and he's just the first one. He's not the best of the best, unless you talk about computers. Okay, I've turned to him all the computer problems I have. He can come into my computer at my request and sort them out. Speaking of which, we still got one we got to deal with. Okay, but so I've got somebody to help me with the computer. I've got somebody to help me with dealing with the government. Okay, but with all the struggle I've gone through, with all the struggle you've gone through, maybe you're in a financial bind like I was. I still am, really. Okay, maybe you're looking at it going, this is never ending. Okay, I have lived that life. And I'm telling you, I've got the key to turn it around. By the way, so have you. Here's a neat little catch. Okay, this is absolutely finance and weight and weight control at their finest. Okay, now when I was going to school, I was told a simple business philosophy. Keep it simple, stupid. I don't like calling people stupid. Okay, when I get mad, all bets are off. My mouth goes into drive. My brain catches up a week later. So I changed it. Keep it simple, silly. Okay, as soon as I did that, with all the struggle I've gone through, now with the assistance of others, and remember, we are all connected. So you may not know how to go about things. There are people in this room that have gone through it. Okay, never mind the rest of the world, just in here. Now, I am doing my best to make this place safe for virtually everybody. The people that are choosing to be a problem, we're making it safe for everybody else. And I even saw it, and probably a year ago now, I saw somebody come in here, first words out of their mouth, because there was cross chatter going on. First words out of their mouth. What a bunch of trolls. Well, I never had a chance to say anything. Half the room landed on the individual, tore a strip off him, told him to leave. Our moderators didn't even have time to get rid of him. He bailed. This is what I mean. This is a chosen family. Okay, everybody in this chat room, if you're new, welcome aboard. If you've been here for a while, thank you for sticking around and absolutely sharing your time with us. So you get an idea. I have decided there's clothing I've got to upgrade. Okay, I have decided because of a hiccup I've been developing, I started actively working on getting my left hand to write again. Now understand, my writing left-handed is not going to do a thing for communication levels because left-handed writing for me comes out mirror image. Okay, but you desire to create to create your new you. Start at the easy part. Are you content with your hair? If you are, leave it alone. If you're not, in today's world, it's easy to cut your hair. Now, I recommend you don't do what way too many 4-year-olds do. Okay? Don't take scissors to your own hair unless you have done it for a while and you've got the ability to make it look decent, even in your eyes. But let's face it, little 3-year-olds, little 4-year-olds will cut their own hair. Not exactly a good fashion statement. Okay, so go to somebody that's done it before, and done it successfully. I tell you, support your community. I went out, I was going to a grocery store anyway, big one. I knew I could get honey there. But I found a company that is based locally and selling honey, unpasteurized, because I'll tell you, and do your own research. Okay, pasteurized honey, all the nutrients are pretty much wiped out, all the enzymes. Great for flavor. I like the stuff. Unpasteurized. My father had type 2 diabetes and was a severe arthritic. Okay. He took 1 tablespoon of unpasteurized honey, 1 teaspoon of unpasteurized honey a day. He worked as a sheet metal tech until he was 80. Okay, and that's with his hands swollen because of arthritis. You figure out whether it worked. And absolutely, don't take my word. Do your own research. Now, when we look at the idea of changing what you're not content with, people use makeup or tanning lotion or whatever. I'm going to be a little confused here, LA. Just and like LA's just let us know there's 20 minutes before my clock.
Keith, don't worry about it. The shuttle on the clock was wrong, so that's
good.
why.
Oh, good.
No problems.
Because I'm like, I know I have trouble with time. I mean, time is one of those things I can tell people, oh, time is fine. It stays stable. Sure, it does. It's always screwy for me. But when when I found this, I keep telling people I found the honey. I've told you, keep shopping local. Okay. Why do you shop local? You desire your community to prosper. That would be the theory anyway. Okay. You give the money to a big corporation, it goes elsewhere. Eternity, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Okay. If you're buying from a big company, it goes elsewhere. Okay. If you buy for a local company, you're keeping somebody in your neighborhood, you're keeping a roof over their head. Okay. So when we look at that, okay, I found this. It's like, great, I can now buy local. Okay. I know that it's better to buy your things like your eggs and your meat from the farmer. My problem is I have to leave the house and go out into the middle of Lord knows where. And if you think my time is scrambled, try my sense of direction. Okay. But take a look. If you're not content with the way you look, okay, the easy thing is the trappings. Okay. Now, just to be clear, and no, I'm not getting changed. That is just not going to happen. But, needless to say, these pants are one color. Okay. If I'm not happy with this color, you buy a new pair of pants, and you'll notice there's a difference in the color. Color, like everything else, has its own vibration. I can get into different shirts. You can, if you like dresses, you can get into a dress. As I told my other half, you don't like what I'm wearing? No problem. You pick it out. I don't personally wear pink. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, it's got nothing to do with whether it says I'm one way inclined or another. I don't like the color on me. Okay, some people have said, hey, that color would look good. I don't care. Okay, because again, karmic law says you must be true to you first. So I simply told my other half, pick whatever you'd like. I don't do pink, and I don't wear dresses or skirts for that matter. And by the way, yeah, I'm Scottish by heritage. I don't wear kilts either. So set the boundaries in place that you like. Because the better you feel about you, the better your life is going to run. Now, you don't have to take my word for this. Again, I recommend you do your own research. I'll tell you, if you've got clutter around, it is blocking the energy flow. Lack of energy flow will make you tired. It will encourage depression. It will encourage procrastination, which, by the way, is apparently a mild indicator of depression. Like I said, procrastination doesn't do well. Okay. So, from that standpoint, and yeah, I know that's the wrong way, so let's not be judging the way to do that. Okay, when you look at things, if you've got clutter in your house, I'll tell you it's not doing you any favor. It really isn't. Okay, what you're going to have is a slowdown on your energy flow. You're going to remain tired. Okay, and you can call it, oh, I only get tired because Keith is saying I'm going to get tired. So that's just the power of suggestion. If my ability to suggest things was that effective, okay, do you not think that the crime level would be at a rock bottom level, and everybody you ran into out there would be looking at each other, smiling and saying hello, or at least nodding and saying hello? Okay, we taught, like Robin Williams put, there are thousands of plans for peace and virtually no action. There are thousands of books out there that show you how to turn your life around. Lots of people read them. How many picked them up and put the tools to use? Understand, you desire to co-create your new you. You're the one that's going to have to do it. God's not coming down to do it. Some alien or some elite or some government is not going to come down and paint a more self-empowered you. Not going to happen. If it was going to happen, okay, it would have already happened. As I spotted on the Facebook today. Now, I found out something about Facebook. Okay, and I won't do it again. every time, like when I look at the shorts on Facebook, okay, or I look at the videos that are brought in, okay, that don't take you to another site, I don't have a problem with them. But the last couple of times, and Storm can vouch for this because he's the one that sorted it out, I go to one of these things and go, follow this link to get the rest of the story. I end up getting a screamer virus. At least that's what I've been told they're called. Some of you will know what that is. Okay. Therefore, I'm not doing that anymore. Am I going to blame Facebook for doing that? Or blame the builder of the virus for doing that? Not a prayer. Okay. But I will tell you, I'm not falling for it anymore. Because it doesn't do me any good. Matter of fact, it annoys the heck out of me. So I figure if I don't push that button anymore, I don't get the screamers. At least the odds are lower. But take a look at what you're doing and what your life looks like. Are you content with the way your house is running? Okay, with the way your life is going. The new you, okay, your new you requires you take a look at yourself. Stick with the things you're happy with. Okay, I like my sideburns. I'm pretty certain part of that is my father had sideburns his entire life until the last week before he died. I'm pretty certain that's why I hang on to them. I'm not dying yet. And the fact that without the backup of the people that told me I didn't know what I was doing, without their backup, I now have, by tomorrow, I know today, my smaller credit card is under limit. It is now usable. And what I've told you you can do to actually earn money with a credit card, I can now start implementing that effective immediately. Okay, when I get done this stream, I go in, double check, see if my bigger credit card is under limit, at which point it all gets put in motion. Okay, this is the critical factor. Okay, it also means I've talked about doing this for a very long time. Okay, the co-creating your new you. Get goals in mind. Okay, this funny little list here. Absolutely necessary. This has been going on while we're in October. I started doing it solidly in January of this year. Now, here's the thing. When I say quantifiable, okay, I tell you, I started this whole idea of absolutely keeping track of what I'm doing on paper. Okay. Well, we take a look at this sheet. Okay. To do January to March of 2024. Okay. I opened it up, and the first day was January 2nd. January 1st itself, in all fairness, was a write-off. It was New Year's Day. But that's January to March. This is April to June. July through September. And I'm into October to December. Now, here's the thing. Quantifiable physical proof. Okay. I decided that I was telling you lists work. My life has changed drastically. I think I've read this year, I think I've closed off 4 books, maybe more. I'd have to actually check. But I am now down to only 2 because I didn't start the other. Again, get focused on your goals. Okay. I am still going to finish reading the Bible. I'm approaching halfway. And Game of Thrones I'm making headway on. These are the only 2 books I'm reading for the moment. Well, that's not entirely correct. I've gone back and started reading from the beginning looking for lost pieces so I can tie the dang thing off. Return to Paradise, which I'm in the middle of writing. Last 2 years have been a nightmare because I kept waiting for somebody else to straighten it out. Okay, had a lot of people tell me, spent thousands on people that said, oh, we're professionals, we can make this happen. Not a one of them. Okay, until along came Storm. Okay, there's a song that goes something like that, but Storm wasn't the name. Okay, but along comes Storm and sets up buymeacoffee.com/inner voice J. Through that link, okay, I haven't sold a lot, but I have sold more books and more consulting than I had in the last 5 years, spending thousands on other people. Okay, Storm said, I can do it for you. Now, it bothers me that I haven't been able to pay him back for it. But with the advent of my bringing my income over the $2,500 mark, okay, all I have to do now is stay focused on that. You desire your life to change. You desire to put forth a new you. Here's a neat trick. Okay. Here's a really neat trick. Don't take my word for it. Believe in yourself and follow your dreams. The first step I tell you, don't take my word for it. Okay, I know, I keep telling you that. Give it a shot. Regardless of what you feel like. Regardless of whether it feels forced. Put a smile on your face. Okay, you don't feel like smiling, smile anyway. But I'm sad, so smile. But people will think that I'm faking it. So fake it. But my smile looks silly. So smile. Maybe somebody will laugh because you did. You've heard the term, smile and the world smiles with you. Cry and you cry alone. Okay? Or more to the point, laugh and the world laughs with you. Cry and you cry alone. Don't believe me on the laughter? Call up any one of the things on YouTube that show a child laughing. See how long it takes for you to start laughing. Okay? But it boils down to you're going to have to make it happen. All the best tools in the world are 100% useless if you don't pick them up. Okay? Now, absolutely, if you don't know what something may look like and you really don't have any way to gauge it, talk to somebody that does. Okay? Like, for instance, when I went out and bought my jeans, okay, now I am not concerned with fashion, like I told them. It's much more important to me to simply have clothing, right? I will wear these new ones for the next year or so until they wear out. And the old ones I've got, I will continue wearing until they wear out. Okay? But it's because I looked at it and went, I no longer desire my life to be the way it is. Now, you see how much water I've been drinking here today. Would you believe? You probably will. I used to drink alcohol at the same rate. Okay, so yeah, if you have no problem drinking, okay, and you're being told, you're once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, you're being led. Okay, I can tell you, not only did I break away from it where I can have a drink if I like to, or I can sit there and have coffee while everybody else on the place is drinking. Okay, I do it. And as somebody said centuries back, all that I do, thou shalt do and more. If I can change my behavior, so can you. Okay? Or you can take that really badly if you want to say so can you in a different way. Take a you. Okay, I'd suggest cloth. Cut it out, put it in the bottom of the bathtub and turn the water on. And soak, and then soak a you. Okay, but that was bad. In any event, take a look at your life. Are you happy with your current you? With the way you interact with people? Your security in dealing with people? Okay, are you content with your ability to work in the environment you're in? If the answer is yes, stick with it. If the answer is no, I'll give you some tips. But it is so much easier for me to point out tips to do this on an individual level if I've got individual questions, which, in case you hadn't noticed, I don't get a lot of. Okay, now I know myself. Oh, there you go. Joe's going, at this point in my own life, as of right now, reading my dream interpretation dictionary is most important. Absolutely do so there, Joe. I've got a couple of books. I've read, well, I'm reading the one encyclopedia. I've already read a medical encyclopedia because when they say knowledge is power, knowledge is only power if you have wisdom to back it up. Okay, hence the idea of when your mind, when your mind and your head and your heart, when your head and your heart are in conflict, use your head, use your knowledge, but use your heart, your wisdom to get what you're aiming at. Okay, now you desire something, make a list. Okay, when I went searching for a perfect partner, I didn't go looking for the one that was absolutely perfect. I was looking for one that was perfect for me. Someone that would take and would work with me with my own shortfalls while I get them straightened out and would be there to support me through the hard times. I never looked for somebody I could live with. I was seeking somebody I didn't desire to live without. Not going down the road of suicidal guys. Okay, I found the partner. Therefore, all these people that send me emails and go, "Oh, I would really like to get to know you." Well, understand, I'll sit down for coffee. Okay, I'll talk to you on the phone. But the moment somebody starts going, "Let's get together," and they start sending pictures, okay, or they go, "Can I get money?" The answer is no, we're done talking. Okay, it's that simple. People that are on plan that send me a friend request on Facebook. Some of you gotta take one and you'll put a Facebook page together just to get in contact. I will tell you, if you've only got one post, I just opened the thing up and this is the only post, become my friend. The odds are I'm not going to accept. Okay, if your front cover is somebody that's half dressed, whether it is a female that's half dressed or a male that is posting half dressed females, understand that's debatably one of the worst ways to get my attention. Because I'll just look at it and go, "Nope, done deal." Okay, these are my boundaries. You, in order to build your new you, do not worry about what your life has been up until this point. We are talking about starting over now. Okay, I've been avoiding phone calls because I am tired of listening to people go, "Oh, you owe us money," or "Oh, I've got this great deal for you. Hear me out." That is not the way this works anymore. And for those of you that are actually working in that field, if you happen to be one of the people that your job is to call me. Don't worry about it. From what I've decided is I'm writing out a response. And here's the way things will go. And I suggest you do the same thing. If you don't like getting these annoying collection calls or these annoying things that say, oh, buy this from us, it'll do this wonderful thing for you. If you're tired of them, and write out a document. I can't tell you what it is right now. Okay. I'm debating whether I should post it in Positive Perspectives at some time when I get it written. But I'm going to write out, so I've got it right there. I pick up the phone, they tell me who they are. At that point, I will ask them, okay, number one, where are you calling from? And it will simply be, if they do not give me an answer, they try and go on with their spiel, I'm simply hanging up the phone. It's that simple. I'm not listening to it anymore. But this is the way our company works. Well, my company, me, works this way. I ask who you are before I bother telling you who I am. If I like the answer, I'll let you know who I am. I will make sure, especially if it's a company, I will make sure that you know I'm the person that you're looking for. In the way of my name, whether or not I have an account, I'm not giving, people say, I just need a yes or a no. The answer there is anything but a yes or a no. Okay? You can go with, instead of yes, correct. Or I can work with it. If it's no, I'm not telling you. It's that simple. Because there are scam artists out there that I found out about, that if somebody is phoning you, okay, and they're asking you for a definite yes or a definite no, they're looking for a voice print. Okay? They don't require a yes or a no. Okay? And I'm just not arguing with them anymore. This is what I'm telling you. It's either what you get or it's what you don't. And like I will tell them, if I get too much flack, it's like, look, you're doing it my way, or I can ignore you for another month, 2 months, 6 months. I'm good at ignoring incoming phone calls. Okay? And this is why, if you're trying to contact me, especially for a consultation, something very important, you phone my number. If I answer, and from here on out, I'm planning on it. If I answer, absolutely be prepared for one thing. Let me know who you are and why you're calling. Preferably where you got my name, because if you don't give that right away, I'm likely to turn around and ask anyway. But if you don't tell me who you are and why you're calling, the odds are pretty good I'll hang up. Yes, I have a company called Inner Voice Enterprises. Absolutely, I do. But I've been trying to do things, and that is one of the big things I never should have done. Okay, if at first you don't succeed, try again. You desire a new you. Do not try to co-create it. Make it happen. Okay, all the pleasant thoughts in the world won't help a lot. Now, one of the important factors that I look at, okay, when I'm looking at my new me, okay, I am looking and going, okay, clutter goes out the window. I reorganized a bunch of empty boxes. I desire to have them ready for Christmas, but I don't have the finances to deal with Christmas the way I'd like. So they will sit in storage until next year. Okay, and I'll start using them then. Do I like Christmas? Absolutely. And for those of you that, and here we are in November, Christmas decorations are coming out. The Christmas sales are coming out. I got no problem with that. I really don't. Do what you will with it. In my house, nobody turns on a Christmas movie, myself included, or a Christmas song until December 1st. Okay, the only decorations that I bother putting up before Christmas, like before December, is quite frankly, and I don't blame people for doing this. If you're putting up lights outside, I recommend doing it before the snow hits. Don't turn them on until December 1st, but hang them. Yeah, absolutely. Joe's going, yep. Scam emails, even scam text messages. Don't even click on them. Just delete them if they seem off. Okay? And I got one the other day. And, Storm confirmed this one for me. What I did was I got a message through LinkedIn concerning my Facebook channel. Now, I knew something was off, but do I know internet very well? Not really. So I turned around, I contacted Storm. Storm goes, look, if Facebook has a problem with you, they're not coming through LinkedIn. So I never touched the thing. I looked at it and went, can't work that way. And and again, you get an email in, take your cursor and hold it over the email. If it's questionable, check and see where it came. Yeah. LA goes, I'd never share your personal information in chat room. Never, but never. This is why when I'm talking, like I know LA personally. In the chat room, LA is called LA. So that's how I refer to her. Okay. That is how I refer to people. Most of you, yes, I said her. I do sometimes refer to people by male or female. We're going to scrap the whole idea of gender identity. I could probably care less, but I don't know how I'd pull it off. Okay. I am very literal in a lot of ways. And my new me is not changing that. Okay. I had somebody get mad because I referred to them as a her. Well, I don't identify as that. I looked at the person, I went, okay, that's what it looked like. That's what I want to describe you like. I got called being a racist for referring to a blonde woman as being blonde. Okay. Now, I'm not entirely certain, but last I checked, blonde was a hair color, a descriptor. But as you build your new you, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to write out what I'm utilizing. And I'm debating, and certainly your input would be appreciated. I'm debating whether to take that form once I write it and put it on, actually post it on the, in Positive Perspectives. Now, I talked to you about a couple of creative writing projects I was going to be working on. And I am going to work on them. But the new me is simple. Set a goal, make it happen. Okay. Set a boundary. Be clear what your boundaries are that you're content with. Okay. Because the reality of it is this. If you're going to set a boundary, you expect other people to follow that boundary. If you say, look, don't touch me. Okay. If you don't like being touched and somebody else says, so you tell people, keep your hands off. I don't shake hands. In Japan, few people shake hands. In Japan, they bow. If that's what culture says, go that route. In your house, if you don't like people wearing shoes in your house, absolutely in their house, unless told otherwise, take your shoes off. Okay. from my standpoint, it's real simple. Okay, I'm not perfect by any means, but as Joe Stewart pointed out, I'm not perfect, but I am doing my best. When you look at the new you, decide, like, I require new clothing. Absolutely. Most of my clothing is 10 years old. I don't require it because it's out of fashion. I require it because it's wearing out. Okay. And since I can't repair most of my clothing, it's got to be replaced. But that's the whole kicker. I was told today, right, when I went to get my jeans, I was being asked about color. I said, look, I just don't wear pink. And the woman looks at me and she goes, well, some pinks are really good, like salmon with your complexion would probably work well. I said, it probably would, except for the fact I won't wear it because I don't like it. So, for me, salmon color is great on a cooked salmon. That's where I like my salmon color. But here's the thing. Answer this question for yourself. Doesn't matter what you tell me. Which gets you a better response, a more amicable, a more peaceful response. And I'd be cautious on trying this one. Okay. But I will tell you, you walk into a restaurant, walk into public, dressed in unclean clothing, in torn and disheveled clothing, you will get a response of one sort. Go in clean cut, being neat and tidy, you will get a better response. If you don't believe that, that's no problem. Okay, give it a shot. Get dressed in your grubbies from home, and go out to a restaurant. See how people treat you. Okay, another day, get dressed right to the nines. Okay, and then go out and see the difference. I learned firsthand taking a cab to a hotel from the airport gets one response. Taking a limo, if it is in your budget, will get you a whole different response. Okay, the feel is different. Now, here's what I recommend you don't necessarily try, but maybe you will. Your call. I won't do it. Walk into any business, and if the person's there, ask, smile and say hello. Okay, and then go about your transaction. See what response you get. Another option, and I've seen this done. You walk into I watched a guy walk into a hotel, thumps on the desk. I want a room. Okay, now picture what kind of response that's going to give you. My new me. Okay, that aspect I don't need to worry about because I don't like confrontation, which is why I'm going to be hanging up on people. Okay. But take a look at the way you're interacting and look in the mirror when you do it. If you were approached in that fashion by someone else, how would you respond? Would you feel better about somebody thumping on your desk and screaming at you that he wants service now, in spite of the fact there's other people in line? I want service now. This is not going to go over well in your establishment. I can virtually guarantee it. Okay, take a look at if you got kids. Are you really content if they sit at the table and go bang, bang, bang? Oh, there you go. Renee, thanks so much for dropping in and sharing your time with us. Hope the meeting goes well. The nice part about it is where it comes to anything in this world. The way you carry yourself is going to have an effect. Now, the clutter in your house, if you don't believe it's blocking your energy, get the clutter tidied up, get it organized, see what happens. Okay, very necessary. What is this? Oh, that was that. Okay. Now, the important factor from your end is real simple. The important factor from your end is this. When you desire to change your life, start by changing your outlook on you. Okay? Look at what you are doing. Is it working? Whatever you're doing, if you're not content with the current outcome, my suspicion is it's not working. So therefore, it's time to change it. Now, the reason I say co-creating, every time you change something about you, you will change the way other people behave towards you. And with a little bit of luck, they will change the way they behave towards other people. We are literally all connected. Everything you do affects everyone around you. Now understand, my picking up a letter opener is not going to affect anybody in China. Okay, when I say it's all connected, this doesn't mean it has an immediate impact on everybody. Okay, if you drop a rock, it's not going to cause an earthquake in Africa. Okay, but if you're close proximity, if I'm playing around with a letter opener, and do understand, I've been known to do this, it won't bother anybody. Okay, on your end, well, maybe it will. But I've been known to do it and this thing is pointy. Okay, it can go between my fingers. No, it's not going. I don't put it in my hand. Okay, I go up there and put it through the fingers. Now, looked at from that angle, it may look like it's going through my hand. If I do that up close, and there are stage managers that can do that. Okay, but my playing around with a letter opener won't bother people on the other end. On the other end of a video. Okay, it does make, because I do the same thing with knives. I play with them. Okay, but for me, I don't mind if people play with knives. Of course, I've been playing with them since I was a kid. Take a look at the way your life is going. Are you currently content with the way it is? If not, time to start shifting it. Okay? The moment you alter your treatment of yourself, you will start altering your treatment of other people. I spent my life telling myself that my memory for names was absolutely a shambles. Okay, it was great. About that long. About an inch long. Maybe. Okay. And I literally had myself convinced to the point somebody would tell me their name, go in one ear, and before the echo died, I'd have forgot it. Now I tell myself my memory for names is improving, and my recall of them is getting even better. With that in mind, I'm now remembering names of people that I've known that I knew a long time ago. Totally forgot their name. Okay, I'm starting to remember names and putting them together. But it's because I changed my outlook on my memory. You have every corporeal with a fully functional brain has a total recall. Their memory is absolutely eidetic. Your recall, the ability to pull that information back, may be somewhat compromised. Okay, but you start telling yourself that it's improving. Okay, and it's getting better. Certainly do not expect, and it's just a caution, do not expect your memory to be your recall to be absolutely perfect right off the bat. Okay, it doesn't work out well in most cases. But absolutely to look at it and go, it's improving is great. She's got a plaque on her wall that says, I still miss my ex. He goes, I still miss my ex, but my aim is improving. Yeah, Robert, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Robert goes, my recall was recalled. The question is, one thing we all have to remember, however old you are, okay, you have no option. You will get older. Okay, even if you die, you're still going to get older. Okay, but whether you get old or not is 100% up to you. Okay, absolutely 100% up to you. So take a look at the kids around you. And I mean the little toddlers. Every time they open their eyes, they see something wondrous, something beautiful. Okay, I'm still having trouble with a lot of that. Okay, now I am curious what we've got here. What? There we are. I'm just rebooting my stream to see where it's standing. Because what we are doing from here on, I'm absolutely changing the way my life is going. I'm not content with what I've got, so I'm changing it. And all I'm doing is suggesting you the same thing. Now, with that in mind, I'm not done. Some of you are. Kind of an important factor. I gotta get water, so I will be right back.
lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
Oh,
The
that was cute.
popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy.
Now, that was necessary. It's probably a good thing that I don't drink what I used to drink at that level. I like that one. You know, Robert says, that's like a shirt that I from D&D that I have. We all die. It's how we live that matters. And absolutely, everybody's going to die. Lord knows I have tried. You know, I've already experienced, never mind tried, I did it. I died literally by astral travel, by fever, by poison, by epileptic seizure, by drug overdose, by temperature shock via water, by drowning, okay, by electrocution. That was not enjoyable, okay, and by the way, by heart attack, possibly by stroke. All of these I've experienced. I don't recommend any one of them, personally. Although, in all fairness, of all of them, astral travel was the least painful. But one of the biggest things when you're looking at building co-creating your new you, let's assume for a moment that somebody has diagnosed you crazy. Maybe they've said, "Oh, you've got ADD, ADHD. Maybe you're paranoid, schizophrenic, whatever." Ouch! Do not bite your tongue; it's painful. Whatever you've got as a label. Okay, here's a wonderful label about me, and it works great if you look in the dictionary. The best way to put a label on me is a pessimistic cynic with a philanthropic heart. Meaning, yes, I absolutely see the worst case scenario. I absolutely have massive trust issues. And yet, I still believe that working together, we can turn this world around and make it a much better place for all of us. Okay, I saw something today, and I'm not going to bother going into it. Okay, I saw something about politicians today, and somebody made a post, and they listed off by name. Okay, and they went, if this person was going to destroy the country, they would have done it several years ago. If this person was going to repair the country, they would have done it years ago. People are inherently, very focused on themselves. And yes, even children are focused on themselves. What children are not is they are not born greedy or, prejudice, I think nature does that. But they are certainly not born greedy. They are not born, dishonest. They are simply born. They are taught to be greedy, to be selfish, to be hurtful. This is something that we as a society have taught people. I inadvertently, and this doesn't make it any better, taught my kids how to look at themselves as, I'm not quite up to snuff. Okay, that's how I saw myself. But I will tell you this. I am, at this point, and my characters in D&D, like I said the other day, are pretty much proof positive of it. I've got this thing about building a better world where we can help people. Okay, in spite of the fact I've been living below the poverty line. Your new you. Maybe you grew up with a lot of money, and you've been taught money makes you a better person. I'm telling you, the Egyptians had the same idea. they had it so well ingrained in them that as they got higher in society, they went, I need more stuff. They even went so far as to bury it with them. You'll notice the stuff's all there. They didn't take it. Okay, now, on average, it takes 21 days for people to change, to either break a habit or build it, okay, or create a habit. Now, that applies. And if you haven't done this before, absolutely contact me. Okay, that approach applies to quitting drinking, quitting smoking, keeping a list running so you've got things on the go all the time. Okay, it works with communication. When you develop a plan, it does work. 21 days average to break or form a habit. Okay, myself, I used to drink. Well, you've seen how much water I've been drinking today. I used to drink that much in the way of alcohol. Okay, how you have lived, you can't do a thing about. Okay, you cannot undo that which you've already done. Okay, you can, however, release your shoelaces if you tied them up. And the term they use is untie. So I guess if you tie something, you can untie it. Okay, but you cannot make it so it was never tied in the first place. So, whatever your life has led to this point, okay, acknowledge the fact it's where you are. Okay, and as it was said in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, wherever you go, there you are. How you got there is not the critical factor. How you proceed forward is. Now, of course, it is wise to learn from your mistakes. You know, if you put your hand on a red, if you see a red burner, do not do this. I did this. Okay, I only did it once. Okay, I was trying to get something over. I turned the stove on. I was trying to get something above the stove. So I put my hand on the burner. Well, here's the thing. I thought I turned on the back burner. I didn't have a lot of sensation in my hand at the time. So I put my hand on the burner. I'm reaching up, fiddling around for something. And then I stopped and I took a sniff of the air. I'm going like, what the heck is that? And I looked down. The entire burner, all the way around my hand, was red. Okay. So I looked at it, immediately turned the stove off. But then I've got a healing rate that's retarded. Okay, it's just absolutely bizarre. But you're turning on. Okay, and for pity's sakes, don't test on that. Done some pretty ludicrous things over the years. But to co-create the new, you decide what you're not with. Behind me, I've got stuff, and that's one because it bothers me every time I look at it. Okay? I've got a bunch of stuff back there on the shelf that I've got to get organized because I'm not content with it. So I'm going to be modifying it. If you're not content with something, it's time to change it. Yeah. And this cute thought, oh, I'll do it later. All the you procrastinate. That was really terrible English. I saw something there. I have no idea what it was. Okay. But while we are on the stream. Okay, if you haven't done it already, let's get started on your new you. Take it or you can see from right where. Well, that was different. I gotta see. Storm, this one's for you. I keep seeing little signs flash up here, and I'm not catching what they are. But are you catching anything on your end? Because I got little orange warnings that keep coming up across my screen. Only
Yeah,
I
when those
can't quite
warnings come
read
up,
what
they're
they're
causing
saying.
glitches in the signal. Whatever's on your screen only.
Oh, okay.
I don't see it from here, but it is causing glitches in the signal. So
Gear it down. Yeah, he goes, now it's 20 minutes. Yeah, that was cute earlier. But what we have to look at is if you desire your life to change, if you desire to co-create a new you, every change you make to you is going to affect the people around you. Okay, it's going to create a different world. Now, the catch there is make sure that as you're co-creating the new you, you're creating a more amicable, congenial one. Do not co-create a bigger doorknob than what you've seen before. Okay, while starting to walk into a restaurant and scream at the waiter that you deserve better service than they're giving you. Screaming at them is not going to help. Matter of fact, it may create a bigger problem. Now, I'm going to take half a moment out here, and I would love someone to put in a response on this one, because it's on behalf of a restaurant owner I know in town. They had a customer come in, okay, a group of 5, and all I'm asking is, did the manager of the restaurant do the right thing, or did they do an equitable thing? The customer came in, 5 people, each ordered a couple of beer, okay, and a meal. An hour later, they still did not have their meal. Now, that said, they complained about, can't blame them there, but the manager turned around, comped them the meal, and gave them $75 in gift certificates for, and hope they'd come back. The person behaved as though it was fine, and then somebody went and reported to head office demanding something be done to compensate for them for their bad experience. Now, in your guys' eyes, did the manager do what they could to compensate for that problem? For the fact that the meal was not delivered in a reasonable and compensation otherwise. I'm just curious because I know my outlook on it. But like I said, they comped all of the drinks. Well, they comped all of the meals and then gave them back $75. Okay. Which, by the way, if you look at an average of, if you're looking at $7.50 a beer, and I don't know what the actual cost of beer is. I haven't bought a beer in Lord knows how long. But based on $7.50 a beer, if you've got 8 of them, you're only looking at $60. Okay, ish. She gave them 75 in gift certificates. In your guys' opinion, did the manager, on top, this is on top of the apology, did the manager deal with it in a functional way? This is just a question, because like I said, I've already talked to the manager. I'm just curious what the general public thinks. You know, so like I said, if you're having, and we go back to this other thing, if you're not content with the way your world is working, okay, it's time for you to get clear what you're not content with and then start making changes. I cannot change things for you. In all fairness, nobody can can protect somebody else from themselves. Okay, well, I can think of one case I've been told I'm not supposed to talk about that. So there are some cases where you can stop somebody from hurting themselves. Okay, but that boils down to containing. Now, do understand, you desire your life to change, you have to alter your outlook. Sometimes that is going to be a bit of a hiccup. I will tell you, if you happen to lack faith in yourself, sometimes you can borrow the faith of others, which I have done with you guys, and borrowed the faith you guys have that we can make an impact here. Okay, I tell you, I've questioned it my entire life, right? But I have been borrowing your guys' faith that we can make it happen in order to make a change. So, if you're having trouble with phone calls that you don't like, i.e., you're at a point where you can't do anything with it. Like in my case, the companies that are saying you owe us money. I spent thousands with them and never got a plug nickel response. I'm out of money. They're not getting it. Okay. Now, yes, I signed a contract that I was supposed to pay them. They signed the contract. They were supposed to provide a service. They didn't provide the service. I'm out of money. It's that simple. So I have managed to get things under control where now my credit cards are no longer overdrawn. Okay. Now I know for a fact the one is already under limit. The other one hasn't registered, but I made the payment today. I should be about $100 clear. Which means by utilizing the tools I offer, okay, which I'm using them, things are changing. Okay, that's the first one. Stevie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And Stevie is just adding for us here. The manager went above and beyond. That was my assessment of it. But I really do appreciate the input. I'm going to pass that on to her, on to the manager, and let her know, because it bothers me that so many people will get and they'll have a bad experience. I was in the same restaurant and ordered something I could not eat. Well, I didn't blame. It was a meal that I just couldn't stomach. I didn't know what it was to start with. But when I told them I couldn't eat it, I just couldn't stomach it, they comped the whole thing, man. They comped the meal for me. I still paid for the drinks, right? But that was without any fuss, no muss, no fuss, no bother. And having been an assistant manager myself, okay, I worked in the hospitality industry for 27 years. I am not happy with a lot of what I see out there now. Okay. And yes, I am putting together an article on some of the things that if you're a restaurant owner or if you're simply a business owner, these are tools that you can use that will work well. You're more than welcome, Joe. So glad to have you join us. And I am looking forward to finding out what happens with the people in your backyard. You realize just because they don't have bodies doesn't mean they're not your neighbors. Thing is, when we say it takes all people to working together, I'm not referring to just the humans. I mean the hybrids, the aliens, the plants, the elementals. You get the idea. All peoples. And we are down to the 15. You know, one of the important factors that I really do like in this world is the potential the human race has. We can turn this world around. Okay, and I would love to see people starting to talk about, and yeah, I'll say it. I see all kinds of posts of this president, this politician is doing this wrong. They're doing this wrong. How about somebody start saying what they're doing right? Okay, let's face it. You know, even when you take a look at relationships, so many people go, it's all that other person's fault. You know, when I ask people how much of the communication problem do you feel is yours, more often than not, the person I'm asking, more often than not, does one or two things. They go, it's all their fault, or it's 90% them, or conversely, it's 90% me. Now, I will tell you, the reality that I've seen with well over 100,000 clients, I've never seen a communication problem that was not a 50-50 issue. Okay. Now, I've already, like, November's positive perspectives is already in people's hands. I'm just about done writing December's, and I've started working on January's. You know, but the reality is, when I say I cannot do this on my own, I can't. The fact of the matter is, all I can do is turn the lights on. And these three neat little books here, okay, and any other books I talk about, if I've written them, okay, they are right here. All you gotta do is go to the link at the top of the stream at buymeacoffee.com/inner voice J. You'll find all of it there. Okay, the neat part about it is these tools work. I use them, and literally thousands of other people have used them with varying degrees of success. Now, I will tell you, and I'm thinking, you know, I did track down an old short story I wrote. Okay, that I finally tracked it down. I've got to go through a bunch of zip drives and see if I can luck out and find another one. Okay, but, you know, when you look at it, I've got huge dreams. I've had to pare them down. Okay, I had to pare the dreams down, the goals down to more manageable size, because I got so many on the go and so large, it has become apparent I'm trying to accomplish way too much in way too short order and getting too many things on the go at the same time. You may be in the same boat. One of the neat things we got to look at here is it is literally up to you to make things happen. Absolutely. You know, I have been told that, you know, you've got to ask the right question. Well, this is fantastic. But what if you don't know the right question. Okay, I've had people offer, my own family included, to help with things and tell me, give them a call. I give them a call. I still don't hear from them for a week. I'm done waiting. I'm done blaming other people for my stupidity. I absolutely made some dumb moves. Absolutely I did. Okay, so have you. But all the guidance in the world is absolutely useless if you don't get up and do something. All the promises and well wishes in the world. I'll help you straighten this out. Okay? All of it doesn't matter if it is not acted on. Okay? So, when I tell people I have a massive problem trusting, I absolutely do. But I do absolutely also take a look at the encouragement that I get in this room and call it selfish, go ahead. That encouragement is a lot of why, as a matter of fact, is almost only why I am still broadcasting. Okay, I cannot tell you how many times I've actually considered shutting it down. Okay, in some cases I considered shutting it down because physically I just couldn't do it. But we're going to carry on forward here. Now, where are we here? Because I know we're getting down to the end. Oh, we didn't get anything set up for this week. Okay, so I'm going to have to take a look at that. I really have to get more focused, okay, on topics and what have you to open up here, okay, so that I can actually make things happen. But this is one of the things I've asked multiple times. I'm going to do it again. If you've got an idea for a topic, absolutely drop me a line, let me know. Okay, I don't have anything planned for Friday. I know I will be here on Friday. Okay, again, now Friday we aren't there. On Friday, I will be here starting at 4:30 p.m. PST. With this in mind, we've just hit the 5-minute mark. So, I do want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Really appreciate it. Absolutely appreciate the interaction. I will be back again tomorrow or on Friday, assuming I don't die or the computer doesn't blow up or something. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes,